So basically what I've done is I've taken some of in my never ending quest to find my own balance within my own body. I've taken some of the mat exercises and kind of transferred them to the pedipole. And as they won't be exact, right? It's the concepts. And the point is really to use the pole to reinforce stability, mainly in the pelvis, but also in the upper frame, right? And so when we're very adamant and we ask the body to stay, or the pelvis to stay, or the head to stay, right, up against something that's giving us this wonderful feedback, right, we can transfer that back to the mat, right? And whether they were moving their pelvis, not moving their pelvis, whatnot, you know, whatever it is, whatever point it is that you're trying to make for them or for yourself, really, because who are we kidding? We could be at the pole today on this, you know, with this imbalance. Tomorrow it could be just a new imbalance. But it's also, that being said, a great way to take somebody or yourself before you go work out, do a few things, right, and go, okay, if I plug my leg in more, right, I can lift the other leg. Maybe I should just assume I've got to plug my leg in, right, for my whole workout. You know, just little things like that that'll help you with your teaching and, you know, with your own self. So that being said, let's stand up at the pole. And if you have any comments, questions, feel free. Otherwise, I'm like my one-woman show here. All right, so we're going to start with the 100. And here's what I'm going to ask. It's not about, don't look at it as like getting the entire spine flat up against the pole. We're not there. So I want you to focus on really the feet, the pelvis, the tailbone, right? The whole back of the pelvis, the two shoulder blades, and your head being the skull, like behind like right behind the ears, right? The middle of the skull there. Those are the points that you're going to keep kind of coming back to. I call them like a body check. Okay, my head, my blades, my pelvis, my feet, right? Whatever happens in between there, you have to allow it to happen because it's probably supposed to happen, okay? So from here, we're going to start with the 100, and we're going to take the heels, and I want you to bring them maybe like that 2 inches in front of your pole, okay? Or where that cap is. If you have a Grotz one, there's that cap at the pole. So from here, take the arms down. Now your arms, right? Your elbows constantly face the side walls wherever they are, right? They face that angle. So it keeps your shoulder in line. Check your head, check your blades. Your blades are just kind of snug into the pole, right? The pelvis stays and your feet are, nothing, no weight in your arches. And you're going to inhale and bring the arms forward and then exhale. And I'm going to go so far as to go, okay, I'm going to try to keep the pole, right, from going forward or backwards. I'm just going to keep it right where it is. And inhale. So sometimes I have to press a little bit harder, right, on the pelvis. And then as I come back, right, I may have to push the ribs out. If I pull my arms way back, push the ribs out a little bit without the blades in order to keep the balance of the pole. Up and down, and inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale, and then release. So now we're going to go into the roll down, but I want you to take just the tips, just the edges of your heel, ankle area. And I want you to just subtly put it on each side of the pole and use that to kind of tighten in, okay? So now we start with those arms down, okay? go through all your points, check them out. And now from here, take your chin and I want you to just pull it in towards your not your chest, right in front of the collarbone, like in front of the collarbone, closer to your neck. Okay. It stays there. Arms stay tight. And now you keep those feet, keep the pelvis, and just start bringing your body forward. Just bring the spine forward. Keep your head, keep the pelvis, and then come back up. So I'm not going to let my pelvis slide up and down the pole right now. It's got to stay planted in there. And head, bring it forward, bring it forward, bring it forward. Now, in order for my weight to stay even, right, I've got to have the weight in my pelvis, right, going back, and I need the weight of my rib cage going forward. Okay, head stays, and move your spine, keep the pelvis, and then come back up, light on the feet. And one more time, you'll find you're going to probably have to soften your knees a lot more than you think in order to keep that pelvis engaged. And bring it back and release. Okay, now from here, thinking of maybe like your one leg circle, okay, this correlates into a lot, but keep the feet where they are. Your arms are out to the sides. Now, as my arms are out to the sides, right, I'm going to lift the elbows, okay? I can't let them go here. I can't let them face down, right? There's constantly turning. They're rotating, not with the forearm, just with that upper arm. And now lift your right heel, okay? And then lift the toes only of the left foot. Now, keep the arms engaged without moving your hips, okay? Keep them. I want you to change. So you're going to go through and lift the toes of your right foot. So we're going to try to keep the hips. We're working on keeping the hips real still, right? Looks like running, yes? And switch and change. So go through, but do not move the pelvis. Lift the toes of the left foot. And switch and change, go through all those points, right? Push into that one ball of the foot, lift the toes of the other, and switch and change, and lift, and switch and change, and lift, and switch and change, and lift. Okay, now rest your arms. It's a lot of arms, but it's not. If you get all those other points to work, you can handle it. I want you to go back to that 2 inches in front of the pole again with the feet. Okay, feet together. Now, weight's nice and even. Okay, on the ball of the foot and the heel, the arch, the whole middle of that foot is nice and light. Now, think of your double leg pull. So if we come around here, bring the arms to the front, I want you to keep those elbows facing the side walls again. Now take your right foot, okay? Lift the heel. Now lift the knee. Keep lifting, keep lifting, keep lifting, and then bring it back down, okay? Each side's going to be different. Buyer beware here. So now from here, engage and lift, 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 and then bring it back home. And again, and lift, 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 and bring it back. Go through the motions, right? Head, blades, snug them in, pelvis. If your pelvis, if you feel like you keep shifting, okay, which that happens because we're not even. So if I say this is my bad side, I have to plug this leg in more. So that means I've got to soften the knee more in order to get more strength, right, in the right place for that side of my pelvis to stay, right? So it's all about plugging the legs back into the pelvis instead of overstretching them away from the pelvis. And right leg, lift it, lift it, lift it, and bring it back. And left, lift, and bring it back. And right, makes you appreciate just doing it on the mat. And bring it back. And left, and bring it back, and then release. Okay. So feet stay where they are in those 2 inches. Take the arms out to the sides. All right. So now I'm trying to get my blades to go almost, I call these are like swan-like arms, right? So the blades pull into the pole and down your back, okay? So from here, my elbow lifts, and I'm gonna take the arms, right? And I'm gonna just pull them straight down here. Inhale. And now as I come up, exhale, I'm gonna bend the knees. And push the floor away. Inhale. And exhale. Feel your hand roll in the handle, right? That's why it does that. Inhale, takes the pressure off the hand. We set it and then we let it be. And again, and inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Let's do 2 more. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And release. Yes. Okay, you're doing great. Now, spine stretch forward. So it wouldn't be my workout if I didn't make it a little bit like you feel a little bit in the danger zone, but in a way where you really, that just means you got to work a little extra hard. Okay. So I want you to put your feet as far forward, right, to the board, okay, as you can. Now you really got to stay on those feet and you got to tighten, right, to hold the board together so it doesn't fall, right? Okay, that's on you. So take now the pelvis and your head, okay? So now I realize here, if I push back on my pelvis, that's gonna make me have to bend my knees a little bit more, but that's okay because that's my work. So we got those swan arms, okay? Now from here, keep the pelvis, don't let it go, keep those arms engaged. Head goes down, and now bring the spine away, bring the spine away. Don't let anything move. Bring the ribs a little bit forward so they go in front of that pelvis, and then come back up. And again, and try to keep the weight even on the feet. And forward, and come back up. And again, it's like your ribs, right? The bottoms of your rib cage, they are gonna win the race always. Always, always, always. And come back up. And again, and over. Keep the pelvis, keep the arms engaged. And come back. And one more. Nobody lost their pull yet, right? And over. And up. And then release. Okay. There. Now to your, let's go to the, like a corkscrew like exercise. So feet are going to go to the pole. Same thing, snug them in again. All right, they just kind of take that and kind of burrito itself in there. Now, take the arms, we'll bring them out. here's the thing, feel your blades, right? They just stay, right? They're not crunched into the pole. They're touching with a purpose, okay? No matter where the arms go, backwards, forwards, there's a constant purpose, okay? So from here, find your head, find your pelvis, find your feet, okay? Now I'm gonna take my right arm and I'm gonna start pulling it back behind me like swan. And I'm gonna bring my left arm forward, but I still have to keep it pulled in. I still have to keep my spine up as much as I can against the pole. And now switch. So you're going to go to the other side. So no twisting in the body, right? We are, but we're not literally manipulating it there. And keep the arms and then bring it back. And again, and keep those elbows, right? But my back one is now trying to face the ceiling. My front one's facing the side wall. And again, hold on to your feet and bring it back. One more on each side. And bring it back. And last one. And bring it back, release. Okay, so now let's add that component, right, with where we were in our spine stretch forward. So we're gonna kind of go into, maybe that goes into your saw, right? Kind of the same thing. So here we go. Press the pelvis, keep it, tighten those legs in so that you don't push your pole behind you. Okay, and now from here, take one arm back, one arm forward, hold on to it, and bring it back. And now the other side, hold on to it, hold on to it, oh, and bring it back. And again, stay grounded. And bring it back. And again, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And one more on each side. You got this. Let's go. And tighten those inner thighs. Hold on to it. And bring it back. And switch. And hold on. And release. Nice. Okay. So here we go. Let's think swan. So what's going to happen in swan? Now the pelvis is going to come away. So we're going to work the feet and we're going to work the head. And whatever happens in the middle here is going to be because your feet and your head are in the right spot. You're going to leave them, and wherever you land, you land. Okay. So I'm going to have you rise up, take the heels, hug them into that pole, right? Get those inner thighs in there. Take your swan arms, okay, from here. Now, lift your chin. Just lift it to wherever it goes. Now, both those components stay there, and you bring your pelvis and your ribs forward. Don't let anything move. And then come back and lower the chin down. So don't let the chin go higher because you're going to decide to go forward more, right? So wherever you lift it to, it stays. That's all you get right there. Now, tighten the legs, right? Stay in your feet and bring it forward, bring it forward, bring it forward, and come back. Find your pelvis, lower the chin. And again, and lift the chin and tighten the legs, bring it forward and bring it back and lower the chin. And one more, and lift the chin, tighten the legs and forward and bring it back and release. Okay, nice. Now, let's think of your single leg kick. So keep the feet where they are. Bring your arms in front. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit wider just because I know myself. And tighten that foot, tighten it in. And I want you to take your right leg, right? Bring it behind you. And then bring it back home. And now bring the other one behind you. And bring it back home. Don't be afraid. If you're going off, right? Plug the leg back into the pelvis. Then you have more strength in your pelvis to keep it against the pole. And bring it, right leg. And bring it back. And love it. And bring it back. But then you know, right? This is probably what's happening on the mat. Okay. And back. And home. And back. And home. Keep going. Hang in there. And back. And home. And back. And home. And then release. Okay. We're almost home, you guys. All right. So take it here. Bring the feet right where they were. Tighten them in. Okay. Stay on the toes as best you can. Swan arms, right? So those blades are like together and down. Now from here, I'm going to have you lift your chin. Okay. Arms are a little behind you. Now you keep the head, you keep the pelvis, but this time you expand in the ribs, right? So try to get those ribs to go over the pelvis bone and then bring it back and lower. So hips stay, right? That stays. This is what goes. My head stays, okay? So wherever you lift your chin, that's where you get. And lift the chin, keep the pelvis. So now I know if I want more strength in my pelvis, I've got to bend my knees a little. And bring the chest forward. And then bring it back. And then lower the chin. And again, lift the chin. Keep your pelvis. And spine goes out. Spine comes back. And lower the chin. And again, and lift the chin, right? Keep the pelvis, tighten those legs, expand, and bring it back and release. Okay, last one. Now we're going to go into your teaser. So what I want you to do, now we've got to bring the feet, right? Because they're there, we raised them more than 2 inches, technically, okay? So feet come forward. And now from here, okay, I would love for your toes to be at the tip of the board, but you know, you're your own person. So from here, I'm going to take the arms forward a little bit. My arms got to stay, my elbows have to stay out to the sides. Okay, tighten the legs together. Keep the pelvis. Now, bring the chin down. Now, let's come away. Let's come away just like we did in the roll up, right? Or the roll down. But in order for me to keep the pole where it is, again, I've got to counterbalance between my pelvis and my ribs. And then come back and home. And again, so don't let your pelvis slide, right? The pelvis is going to stay. You keep it, you keep it. You can move the spine, you just can't move your pelvis. And bring it back and home. And again, and the head and bring it back. Keep going, go as far as you can. Keep going, get the ribs to go over and come back and home. And again, head and go for it. Just go for it. Just go for it. Just go for it. Tighten the arms. Tighten them, tighten them, tighten them. Tighten the legs. Keep the pelvis. And bring it back. And one more. And head. And forward. Keep it. Keep it. Keep weight on both sides of your feet. And bring it back. And release. And you guys are done. Good job. Do you have any questions? I'm happy to answer anything.
You did that like the baby armchair.
Yeah, totally. A lot of that can be translated, and some of it can be translated against the wall, like I had said at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? Just kind of pick and choose, and you just don't let them. But hopefully that makes all those wall exercises make more sense, right? We can't let the pelvis slide up and down the wall when we're rolling down, technically, right? It's going to slide on your squats, but it's not going to as you go forward, right? The spine can move, but that's it. Does that make sense?
Totally, Dana.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm glad you guys showed up today.
Dana, on that single leg kick.
Yep.
Is the goal to not have, I mean, because I have metal in one of my legs, so like I was shifting to one side.
Yeah.
The goal is to be in parallel, just like on the mat, right?
Correct. Correct. Okay. And so anytime we're on our stomach, that's why I lifted the heels. Anytime we're on our stomach, the toes are facing us, right? So they're not pointed like people want to. It's literally that position with the if you guys can't see me, but it's this position, right? So that's what's happening when anytime we're on our stomach. So that's why I went up with the heels. So the metal's not going to go away in your back, right? So you've got to figure out what you need to do to the one side. And it's going to either come from expanding something in the arms, or it's going to go into something where you got to plug in that other side more to get more strength in the pelvis on the opposite side.
Interesting. Okay. I love that. I love the whole thing. It was so wonderful. It's so original. I mean, I've never done this before.
You know what? I've never done it either. I just made it up. But I know the concepts of math, right? So,
thank you.
That's why we love you, Dana.
I'm not afraid to say. But look how many more reasons we have to use this thing. Instead of arm circles and chest expansion. You know, all that stuff is in there, but it's not, you know, that's if I was standing and doing the mat too, right? Why can't we do that? You know?
Thanks, Dana.
Yeah, you're welcome, you guys. I'm glad. Good.
Thank you, Dana.
You're welcome.
Thank you
Reach
so much.
out anytime and enjoy this day. I'm so happy for you guys. How awesome.
Love you, Dana. Thank you.
See you. Bye, Trace.